Well,
It's live. It's live. It's live. Okay, play the intro video. Where is it? Uh,
There now follows a special broadcast from the British Radiophonic Society. This family has settled down for a
wait.
cozy...
Oh, it's not play. Oh my god,
I
this is
can't see
terrible.
that.
This is terrible. Wait,
I'm scared to start watching the stream.
I'm
I'm scared.
refreshing
I'm scared
YouTube.
too. I'm scared too. Oh
Oh,
my
I
god,
can see it.
we're
I
having
can see it.
horrible we're having horrible technical difficulties. Oh god.
Live, are we?
We're
I
having
can see it.
horrible. Well, hey everyone. Can you stream later? I'm working right now. Thanks. No,
We are live.
No, we cannot. Yeah, I know we're
We're
live.
currently live.
So anyway, guys, so I'm about like 11 months late on this, and by the way, Reese, do you have
Oh
any
well,
idea?
so much for the intro then.
Yeah, I guess because
So much for
That's
the
so
intro
good.
video.
I'm technically incompetent. So Reese, do you
Hmm.
know if and when Stefan's going to join us, or do you know anything about that? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, like I do apologize. I know this will upset the chat again, but once again, Stefan has announced that he cannot make it. He sent another
Oh,
email. Yeah, we're really sorry about that. He sent another email. So here are the details for the latest excuse. He said that he's a part of this bird watching group, which I don't know if you know about. I don't know if you knew this about him, but he takes it quite seriously. And he said that one of his colleagues recently informed him that a really rare owl had been spotted nearby. This was like a couple of hours ago. And so he had to drop everything and go out in search of this owl. So he's got his camping gear, his hiking gear, and he's gone out into a forest near where he lives looking for this owl. So
oh
once
man.
again, sorry, he's away again, but he should be here for the next episode.
Okay. So next time he'll be here.
Yeah,
I
next
hope
time
he
he'll be
finds
here.
the owl that he's looking for. I'm glad he's taken up bird watching. That's a kind of an active hobby, kind of an underdone. You don't hear many bird watchers anymore. I think that's kind of
Yeah, it's
interesting.
nice.
Yeah. All right. Well.
Twitchers, I believe they like to be called.
Oh, okay. Well,
Switchers.
hopefully he'll be on next time, and we can have a fruitful discussion with Stefan Molyneux. But in the meantime,
Yeah.
so what I wanted to talk about, and I wanted to have I'm going to present a whole bunch of stuff, and then we're going to have like a little bit of a trial here. So
Ryan, I think sorry to jump in if you'll forgive me, but don't you have a little bit of perhaps encouraging technical help for maybe a few people that were struggling with volume last time? Didn't we get a contribution from some source on that?
no.
Wasn't it something from the British Radiophonic Society? Didn't they send something in?
No, because I can't get.
There now follows a
Oh.
special broadcast from the British Radiophonic Society.
We're opening up
Maybe
the
we
This
did.
possibility of
family
more
has settled
technical
down for a
issues.
cozy evening spent listening
Okay.
to a video program
I'm watching the
in
stream.
which
Oh,
some of their favourite entertainers regale them with light-hearted conversation on such topics as free will, artificial intelligence, and nanotubules.
What's up?
But wait, they are having considerable difficulty making out what's being said. That's okay, help is at hand. Fortunately, Father has received military training and has thus been exposed to a wide array of modern electrical equipment. He recognizes the crucial Bakelite knob and begins to rotate it clockwise until a satisfactory volume has been achieved. Don't be afraid to adjust your equipment in a similar fashion. Now that you're all prepared, we hand over to Ryan, Reese, Rob, and special guest co-host Stefan Molyneux as we hand you over to another episode of The Alternative Hypothesis.
Oh wow! Well, I'm surprised that the BBC mentioned me in that. Oh wait a minute! You guys are still behind in the stream.
Oh yes.
Oh
We
yes.
assume it's over.
Oh okay. So anyway,
Yeah. Apparently people are paying attention.
Yeah, we got mentioned
we
by
got
the
mentioned.
BBC. Very,
That's right.
very cool.
Well, I got mentioned. So,
Well, yeah,
so I'm like 11
enemies in
months.
high places.
That's right. So I'm like 11 months behind on this JF stuff. So I heard like a whole bunch of stuff calling JF like a potato masher. A bunch of A-logs saying that he that he killed his common law wife and stuff. And I just assumed that it was just the A-logs being A-logs memeing. But apparently there is stuff. There is stuff on this, and for anybody who's been who's been like me, and for whom this is new, well, this will be enlightening. And also, you guys, I think you're kind of like me, like you sort of heard of it, but you didn't really hear much of it. And also, I want to get I want to get your reactions to some of this stuff. So let's see. So we're gonna go through the JF stuff here. So
I don't know. Do you think it's worth summarizing perhaps who JF is and your relationship with him formally for people who are listening that might not know about that at all?
I don't think we have like 57 viewers. I'm pretty sure they all know who JF Garpe is. He's he's like a YouTuber. He was sort of big at a period during the IBS period on YouTube. Sort of ethno-nationalist, we'll just say very idiosyncratic Frenchman. Don't worry, we'll be getting to some videos of him. So anyway, but the first thing, and this is something Rob and I were looking on, we saw on Wikipedia and on JFGRP, and they mentioned that his common law wife, Elora Patouan, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, was missing since June 17th, 2023. So this is the missing persons report. So, and this is from October 6, 2023. RCMP continued their investigation to locate Elora Patouan. RCMP have learned that her last known sighting was on Albert Street in Moncton on June 19th. She was last seen wearing a brown faux leather jacket, black pants, and a school bag with her. RCMP have made use of the new Missing Persons Act part of the investigation. Blah, blah, blah. Phone number. And here's the original. Prince RCMP is asking for the public's assistance locating 30-year-old Elora Patouan. Patouan is described as 5'10", 140 to 150 pounds, with curly brown hair, speaks French and English. When someone goes missing, this has deep and far-reaching impacts for the person and those that know them.
Barely. Speak French and English.
Well, we only hear her speak English. If you don't speak French, you don't know how well she speaks French. Anyway, we ask that people spread the word through social media respectfully. The RCMP Prince District, blah blah blah, and the RC. This is Royal Canadian Mounted Police Major Crime Unit are investigating. So that was that was interesting. That was an interesting thing. When we saw it, where did she go? So let's take a look at something. The next interesting thing, and you guys in the chat, the other two people talking, Kyle and Rob. Excuse me, Reese and Rob.
Yep.
Excuse me, Kyle Reese.
Yeah, who's Kyle?
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Kyle Reese. Yeah.
We will make
Okay.
it. We will be the judge. We will be the judge, jury, and executioner of JF.
We are weighing the evidence. Indeed.
We are weighing the evidence. Okay, so here we are on June 18th. Now remember, what we saw previously, Elora was missing on June 17th. So this is June 18th. Due to changes to my setup, I'm going to need a couple of days off before I can come back to the internet. No show today, June 18th, or tomorrow, June 19th. Hopefully I can return Tuesday, June 20th. Now on June 17th, he says, I'll be on break tonight. So he was on break June 17th, June 18th, and June 19th. Interesting? What does that mean?
That is interesting.
It's always the first question, isn't it? What were you doing at the time of the murder?
Is that when he was cleaning his house?
Maybe. He does like to clean. He likes things to be very clean. But first, let's talk about how he describes Elora's Elora's escapades. So, this is from October 4th, 2023. So it's a little bit out of order, but I think we'll present this first. It's a thematic order here. The police in Canada is looking for Elora. Now, this thing, Mama JF, this I frankly find kind of creepy. Mama, calling her Mama JF over and over. I think that's weird, but anyway.
But he's autistic, and
the police in
you kind of
Canada
expect him to be a bit weird.
is looking for Laura because, in true Elora fashion, she has left our home in June and has disappeared from the map. I am sure that Elora is fine. I know she has been safe for at least 2 days after I dropped her where she wanted in June. Again, referring to the missing persons notice, a reported sighting of her on June 19th. Now, that's just a reported sighting. I'm not sure that, that's just some random citizen saying they saw her. So it's just that's hearsay. Anyway, I'm sure that Elora is fine. I know that she's been safe for at least 2 days after I dropped her where she wanted in June. Elora left her home entirely voluntarily to go live a life of adventure wherever it would bring her. So what is that? Okay.
I mean, that's the kind of thing that would normally be in quotes if someone else had said it. But without the quote, it's like, why are you being all like la-di-da and poetic about your missing wife?
It's possible you could say that about like a regular girlfriend, but because she's
the mother of his child. She's the mother of his child.
and she's a mother. Like, it sounds a bit like dangerous. First of all, dropping her off into the wild by herself. It doesn't sound like she can survive that well.
Well,
and thinking about her children.
Okay, so we'll get into the evolution of JF's stories of where
he's presenting it like it's some sort of 1962 free spirit, ultra hippie. She is off in search of adventure,
a life of adventure for the 8 crystal shards. Yeah, that's what's happening. So, but since she has electronically disappeared, not connecting to her cell phone or updating me or her family, I ask anyone who would have encountered her to just notify the police so that they can know she is safe. Okay. And I ask her if she wants to leave a note to the police, me, or her family to ensure everyone of her safety. Now, as far as I know, he didn't mention any notes from her or anything like that. If you want to send me an encrypted tip anonymously, I can receive them at jfjerby@proton.me. So, Rob, I found this an encrypted tip anonymously. Now, I found that sketchy, but you didn't necessarily find it sketchy?
Well, I mean, I was trying to play sort of devil's advocate and say that perhaps if you're someone in a sort of criminal underground scene and you know something about a murdered woman and you want to, in some public spirited fashion, you want to inform the police, but you don't want to draw attention to your own kind of involvement in some, it's not directly related, but like you were selling something you shouldn't have been selling or whatever it is.
Right,
so,
right.
Perhaps there is some practical value in making that email available. Perhaps.
In addition, according to JF, Elora, and this is according to JF, I have no other reason to believe this, but according to JF, Elora did hang out in seedy scenes, according to JF. All right. So that's part of what JF is saying. So that is consistent with what JF is saying. So having an encrypted tip line, okay. Not necessarily. I find it a little bit suspicious, but not necessarily. So, okay. What else do we have? Next piece. Also, you guys are getting a stream delay, so you'll see the image after I start talking about it. Okay, so here we have a post. Sure, I'll be happy to answer your specific form of the question. The 2 times were experienced very differently by me because they were different. On the first occasion, okay, this is referring to Elora leaving. She has left before. I think I have a video where he talks more about this. On the first occasion, she was regularly contacting me back and draining my emotional energy while not committing to come back. We also had an unfinished family project. The second time, she wasn't calling back, draining my emotional energy, and had completed all family projects to my satisfaction. Okay.
That's just the most strangely worded thing, and especially in context. But anyway,
It's just how he would. I think that's fine. It's just how he talks.
It is, but it's an interesting change. Okay. Okay, maybe not that much.
well, you're presenting a kind of family dynamic that's a bit weird to my satisfaction. That's got a like kind of overtones of dictatorial, tyrannical kind of shades of that.
Okay, and Reese, I think this tweet may be written in Australian.
I think maybe.
I think it's
Right.
written in Australian.
I can translate it for you if you want.
What does it say? Does it say I did it? So this is him. So this is him butt dialing on the day of the adventure.
Is it possible that
the start?
Is it possible it's his girl? Is it possible it's his girlfriend tweeting that without him knowing?
So
Maybe.
Look, guys, I'm sorry, you're both overlooking something here. I would say butt dialing is the least likely explanation for that tweet, and here is my reasoning.
It's sort of
in order to tweet that, you have to accidentally unlock your device, accidentally launch Twitter, accidentally be on the keyboard, accidentally hit posts successfully, and then not delete it before 4 people quote it, 3 people repost it, and 83 people like it. Now, I think the most likely explanation is he was in some philosophical mood where he decides that, a meaningful thing or important thing to do is to randomly roll his hand around the keyboard for 3 seconds.
Like Rob's, I know that when you're butt dialing, like you would have to press the exact button that says, post, and you'd have to press a few exact buttons. But for some reason, when a phone's in your pocket, it just does things, and it's like that sort of thing does happen.
Well, okay. I mean, all right, it may have simply been butt dialing, but I think, especially because he's a philosopher, that's the kind of philosophy thing to do. I'm just going to tweet this today. I think
it's his girlfriend tweeting. I think she starts off trying to say something about someone being dead, and then she sort of trails off a bit, and then she starts laughing. There's a ha 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 there for a bit.
It could be his girlfriend trying her best to make a good sentence.
Maybe. Okay. So now we have another interesting thing. So this is from. So we have the user K. You are the last known person to see her since June. Jean-Francois Jarpy says no. She has been traveling and leaving an electronic trace. Oh, thank you, buddy. Thank you, Discord. Not Discord. Steam. No, she has been traveling and leaving an electronic trace far from mine. So I do not expect to be a suspect in her disappearance. So, talking about electronic traces, okay, just a comment. Now, look, it's JF, so maybe it's he's thinking about how other people are looking at him, and he's thinking about this, like tactically, as an innocent man, how are they going to hang me? That sort of thing. Okay, it's possible. It's not damning. It's not damning. It's weird. It's what normal people would not say that. But JF is not a normal person. Okay.
I mean, yeah, sure. I think as you proceed through your analysis here in your litigation, it's that you're going to find yourself leaning more and more heavily on that.
We need to stop holding being weird against JF. Otherwise, he'll just be guilty.
Well, in a way, we're almost, it's the thing letting us give him the benefit of the doubt. So we're kind of being kind to him at the same time, really.
Yeah. Okay. Then we have on October 4th. Now remember the The missing person notice went up on October 3rd. So this is on October 4th. Locationism, the false, modern, leftist idea that you are entitled to know where people are. So he's against locationism.
This is him being like a radical libertarian.
Yeah, he's a very libertarian person, and he's really into locationism and how locationism is bad. So
he thinks like a family shouldn't be able to like find their loved one if they
that they don't have a right to know that Elora wants to go off on an adventure. That free to do so. Okay, so I think this is
she has gone away from the public space to the private space.
So I think this is here we go. So I think this is the first video, and I'll just go ahead and play the video.
So she left, and she had a whole plan. She had bought camping material. She was on her way to some sort of survivalist trip. From what I understood, it looked like she was preparing for life in the wild. But looking at the size of her bag as she left, I wouldn't think that she was going at the point when she left. I wouldn't think that she was going for.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. I have to apologize. This is a comparison between his explanation on October 6th and October 4th. So. So I'm sorry. I'm gonna replay that. I screwed that up. Okay, so this is October 4th.
So she left, and she had a whole plan. She had bought camping material. She was on her way to some sort of survivalist trip. From what I understood, it looked like she was preparing for life in the wild. But look.
Okay, so preparing for life in the wild on a survivalist trip. That was the October 4th explanation. So here's October 6th.
Looking at the size of her bag as she left, I wouldn't think that she was going at the point when she left. I wouldn't think that she was going for extended survival in nature.
Okay, so then October 6th it becomes looking at the size of her bag. I don't think she was going for an extended survival in nature. Okay.
I conclude that.
Ryan, you've got your own ideas about how you want to play this, but it might be instructive for your audience, if you're not about to do this anyway, to give them a taste of how she speaks and who she is, because that puts all of this in context.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, I have a whole bunch of that. Do you want me to just go straight into that? Well, let me finish this clip. And then
some sample of her would be really helpful, I think, pretty early on in this, that's all.
Yeah, you're right. That's a good idea. So...
she's going off-grid, she's going full survivalism. I'm dropping potentially my own identity behind. I'm potentially disappearing in nature. We're not talking, at least as far as I know, she had no intent of going into the actual forest, surviving for extended period.
So basically, on October 4th, Elora's going into the forest. She's going on a survivalist trip. And October 6th, it becomes her supplies were not meant for, living in the wild, that she was just going off-grid into urban areas or whatever. So
I think this is one of the worst ones for Jay, because he is changing his story when the police mention that she has that bag with her. He goes from she's only going out, she's like going into the wilderness, to she was only going out for a short amount of time.
So what
he's adjusting the story.
Yeah, so... Wait, this is the... No, wait. Let's get the update. So when was the... Okay, so here's the original. The original release is that she was missing since June 17th. All right, you guys see that? It's missing since June 17th. When is when was the second sighting? When was the second sighting? And this was posted October 3rd, 2023. When was the second sighting? October 6th. And that's when he changes the story. because she was seen on Albert Street in Moncton, which you can go on Google Maps and you can see it's fairly built up area, right? It's urban-ish area. And that's when her bag got a lot lighter. Okay, so that's a little bit interesting. But you're right. So let's go on to some stuff about Elora.
When you say her bag got lighter, you mean like her bag was visibly sitting not as low on her back in pictures, kind of thing?
No, there's no pictures of her with a bag. there's no. What I'm saying is in JF's story, she had less supplies. Right. Originally, she was.
I'm so sorry.
Originally, she was going out into the woods, and she was gonna. I don't know. Eat berries or something. But then.
Right.
But then she went on a trip into like an urban area. Right. So the story changed in response to the story changed. Excuse me. The story changed coincidentally with the second sighting.
Right. She went from being a survivalist to taking a casual trip somewhere fairly populated.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. So I'm just gonna play this clip here so people have an idea of Elora.
Yes.
Okay.
I had a bad life, but then after I discovered GF, then I started to look at GF every day. I was always looking at GF. I became crazy. I lost everything I had. I lost my job, my family. I quit school. I lost everything. I was just looking at GF all the time. I was crazy. And then after I wrote to him, I said, GF, I want to suck your dick. And then he told me.
Okay, so a lot of people have difficulty understanding what she's saying. She's saying that she lost her job, family, lost her mind because she was watching JF so much. This is before she moved in with JF. Okay, so it's not like she moved in with JF and then lost and then right. It's not that bad. But this is the kind of person we're.
And of all the videos I've seen of her, that's her at her most lucid and coherent.
Oh yeah, we'll go through more. We'll go through more. So I'm gonna continue the video.
And that's my background.
You lost your job because you were addicted.
I lost everything.
You lost everything because you were addicted to my shows.
I was just looking at your show all the time. Even I had a job, and I was going to hide in the bathroom to listen to your show. And then my boss said, "Why you always disappeared for 10 minutes?" Then he fired me. I lost everything, my family, my friends, everything, because I was just looking at GF show all the time.
You've never told me that.
Yeah.
Wow. That is some dedicated fan right here.
Yeah, I think someone in the chat said you're not going to be able to understand her hearing her speak the first time. That is true. You have to sort of develop an ear for what she's saying. But yeah. Someone in the comments says, "Do you have the posts about butchering a large animal the week she went missing?" I recall that, but I didn't find it directly relevant. But it is interesting. For those who don't know, JF did post a tweet showing basically an entire butchered cow, or most of one, right, with like bones and all and stuff. The week that she went on her adventure. So that is interesting. It's not directly relevant, but it's kind of like, why are you? It's kind of odd that you would do that.
It could be like establishing. It could be like establishing an alibi. Like, oh, I'm just doing everyday things like butchering this giant animal. I didn't, I would do this if I killed my wife.
Yeah,
maybe.
It's kind of odd, but the thing is, it's not. I mean, it's not like, it's odd. That's all I can say. It's
It could
odd.
just be an unfortunate
Yeah, it could just
coincidence.
be an
It's possible,
unfortunate
isn't
sort
it?
of thing.
Ryan, can I
You know.
can I request that you play the video with her talking about eating cheese for 2 days? Because in my view, that's not just someone with a speech problem. That's someone who's neurologically impaired in a way that's, probably significant here.
And then
Let
the white guilt
me-
one where she accuses this guy of attacking her.
Okay. Let me here. Okay, so here's like a big old compilation.
Paris is
I
lovely
don't know why,
and
but for me,
Nice
the
sure is
cheese one really did
Guys,
it.
guys, the video is now playing.
nice. And Marseille is charming with champagne on ice. But you stinky Frenchmen haven't a clue. You stinky Frenchmen, frog you.
Stinky Frenchman.
That being said, it's a cheese that I really love. It is the original orange cheddar. Now people are saying, Jeff, why don't you share with Mama Jeff? Well, do you want some?
No, because we went to his mother's house, and after I drank so much this morning, and then I feel like, oh my god.
Oh, okay, you feel like, oh my god. So you see, she doesn't want to
And
eat.
also, I eat only cheese since 2 days, only cheese. Because you gave me why you give me so much cheese, GF? You're like a Neil
Why
deGrasse Tyson.
you give me so much cheese?
Is it like a blood for sexual blood?
No. You cannot accuse celebrities here of rape. This is the public space.
Why? There's so much
No, you
cheese.
cannot defame anyone.
This is what took place. These are the kinds of
Hey,
people
maybe
they
we
are.
could have
This
done
is
that.
what we have to arrest. Is that Mama JF? I thought I heard something. Anyhow,
I had to mute Mama Jeff because she was telling some mean things about no white guilt. I apologize. Everyone who's a fan of the show knows
don't
that
believe
Mama
that.
Jeff has an uncontrollable and irrational hate of no white guilt, and we don't hate her for
I
it.
don't
It's
believe
just
that.
a brain spark that she has where she construes no white guilt as someone else.
Yeah, I don't think she
All
was
right,
talking
Lawrence
about no white
Forbes
guilt.
says, does Mama Jeff really have an issue with no white guilt, or is she just fooling around? She has an actual
Talk to
issue.
him. I need to.
Don't say anything violent.
No, I want to.
What do you have to say?
No, I get seriously. You tried to kill me, okay?
Okay.
And I'm fucking sick that you're fucking me with me. You always follow me everywhere, and
All right.
and you say you want to make spiritual movement, but you fucking tried to kill me for 3 years, okay? You're a fucking
Okay.
psychopath, man.
T'en as assez dit, maintenant va-t'en.
Okay. So is she talking about no white guilt? Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's like,
Are you? I don't.
because it's like it's very random. Like so you reckon she's trying to like tell the audience that it's actually JF who's doing this to her?
See, I don't know. Like, I don't know who she's talking about, and I'm not going to jump to the conclusion that she's talking about this no white guilt guy. I'm just saying.
Well, I just like to retract what I've said about her mental health. I think she's a perfectly reasonable, normal lady, and I'm sorry now.
Well, I mean, this is a pretty normal moment. Well, perhaps a pretty normal moment. Anyway, let me continue the video.
Okay, so the answer to the super chat is that Mama JF mistakes no white guilt for someone who has committed acts of violence against her.
Is
So
she,
that's why
though?
you see her currently sad.
Is she though? Is she?
Mama JF has been the victim of an act of violence. It was not by no white guilt at all. She is confused, and because she is confused, she associates no white guilt with... People are asking on the regular chat, is Mama JF okay? Yes, she is doing good. I don't know if she wants to come to say hi, but she is doing good. So no worries for Mama JF.
Hey,
Elora.
Hello.
hey, I just want to say, No, I will never accept your apologies, okay? What you did to me was so mean. And this guy is not a real person. He's doing shape-shifting. And he's
Yeah,
a ghost. Don't believe him. He's not a real person.
Okay.
And he wants to kill me.
Okay.
So, well, okay. I mean, my opinion is this was coached, but this second part was coached to kind of cover up, but whatever.
So No White Guilt is a ghost, according to Mama JF.
Yeah,
I will
the
say as a
shape-shifting,
journalist, I
yeah.
have a duty
So this is the
here
lady that
not
went
to
off
allow
independently
defamation.
camping
And I
Yeah.
will say
on
that
her own recognizance.
the theory that No White Guilt is a shape-shifting ghost is unsupported at the moment, in my view. All right, we have a question for Mama JF coming on the super chat. K Max McDonald says, Mama JF, what is your background? What country do you derive your ethnic heritage from?
Okay, I can answer that. Okay, but before, I had a bad life, but then after I discovered GF, then I started to look at GF every day. I was always looking at GF. I became crazy. I
this
lost
is the
everything
same-
I had.
the same-
I lost my job, my family.
This
I
is a
quit
repeat.
school. I lost everything. I was
Yeah,
just
but you
looking
can't
at
have too
GF
much of
all the
that, it's
time.
fun.
I was crazy.
Okay.
And then after I wrote
He's
to
just
him, I said,
repeating that.
GF, I want to suck your dick.
This
And
is-
then you come. And that's
to do with me
Okay.
being on the show. I'm due 4 days a week, plus not with
She
the
says at the end
that
she
is how
wants
the
to suck
agreement
his
was.
dick, by the way.
Yeah,
That is
yeah.
See, Steve McRae was interested in the flat earth, which is very naive and beautiful. Hello, Mama Jeff. Oh, you took your shower?
yeah, I was sleeping.
Yeah, so...
Hey, hello, AIU.
Oh, yeah. She's a big fan of AIU.
Hey, I just wanted to say, it's so nice what you do, but I don't know why you're atheist.
Yeah, why are you an atheist, AIU?
Yeah, what?
AIU, that's a blast from the past.
Yo,
Yeah.
hey, me, I believe in God. Like,
Do you know Rob
do you know how I did
did a
that?
video for him?
How did you reach a belief in God?
It's
Se-
because
several,
before
in fact.
I met GF,
Yeah.
I was smoking a lot of weed, and after some time, God started to talk to me in my head. It's real.
All right. So okay, so I think that's fine. That gives us a little bit of an idea of
I see someone in the chat saying I think she was a total wasted pothead. I have some considerable experience around people who use marijuana, and I wouldn't diagnose that as it can't be purely explained by weed. I mean, weed may have been a factor, but weed won't get you to where she is. At least not in a case of a normal healthy person.
yeah. It could
When
also be more than just weed. It's a possibility. But the thing is, either way, like whether it's by genes or by drugs, she appears to be well, either in terms of thinking that No White Guilt is a shapeshifter, she's really, really dumb or delusional, or my opinion, she was being coached to say that.
I
Either
am tempted
way.
to say that she is. I'm tempted to say she is someone who is educationally subnormal and suffering from paranoid schizophrenia and something else probably as well.
Well, I'm not here to diagnose her from afar. The point is, she's probably not somebody who you would expect to go on an adventure out in the wild and make it. Especially one, she's a she, so she's not physically built, and she doesn't seem to be mentally built for that. So that's
when
go ahead.
when that came up, JF said that, oh yeah, I get what you guys are saying, but she has, I think he said like street smarts or something, and he said like she can survive on her own, sort of in the wilderness because she has street smarts. And I think street smarts are an actual thing. Like it's not like being emotionally intelligent, which I think is not a real thing. But I just don't think she is street smart. I think he's just.
So anyone who can look you in the
that.
eye and say, "Yeah, I think she's really street smart," they're either deluding themselves or they have an argument to present that I've yet to encounter.
Okay. Let me show. Okay, regarding the street smarts. Let me please be the right monitor. Okay, good. All right. So here's regarding the street smarts.
When I came in this morning at about
Is this the graffiti
10:30,
thing?
I saw those
Yeah.
graffitis.
Yes.
So here we
I
have
said,
1488 with the
"Again,
heart.
graffitis." Actually, I didn't know what it was about, and
Hail Worski, save
it's always
Richard Spencer.
frustrating. Got to paint over again. I looked
JF
up the
Gajarpi,
name, and
king of the world.
I saw that.
And then we
he
have
wants to
a
make
Minnesotan,
ethnostates,
up in Canada.
GFWP.
With a
And
Minnesotan
he's
accent.
from the province of Quebec. Never heard of him.
Ethno
And
states.
from what I've read, some of it on Wikipedia, I didn't quite agree with him.
Didn't quite agree. Okay, Minnesota nice. Didn't quite agree. Surveillance, security captured.
It looks like a male, but I have a feeling it's a female.
Well, she's
especially
5'10",
written in
so.
pink. And well, especially looking at the camera at
Street
the,
smarts.
Like, no one in the
building,
public-
the writing,
No,
Street-
no random person will know who Worski is, so it's a weird
No.
thing to
Created the
graffiti.
graffiti.
It's
They'll know.
kinda like-
They might know who
Happy
Richard
about it.
Spencer
Left
is
and
because
came back
the.
and put a
Yeah.
heart. Maybe they did
So yeah,
not
this
because
Street
the
Smarts,
paint was anything
And there's the bag.
not
There's her bag.
extreme,
It's kind of impressive. It's kind of
not
impressive
as
that she
bad
spelled it correctly.
as the message the person wanted to show.
You actually did good.
Blah. Exalt several white supremacists. Andy Worski would be a little bit. Worrisome. Absolutely deplorable. Oh god, this is deplorable. Oh, it's terrible. Oh god. Kind of funny. Absolutely deplorable. Was this before the deplorables? I don't know. Okay, so where are we? So that's that. You guys derailed my direction I wanted to go. Electronic trace, locationism. Okay, so here I think this is another video. I think this is the survivalist trip. Oh yeah, okay. Let me get the thing up. So this is no. Is this the same thing? No, this is the same one. Sorry guys. I'm bad at my links. Let me try again.
Good.
We're here to derail Ryan and eat McVitie's tartlets, and we're all out of McVitie's tartlets.
Okay, so you guys keep talking. You guys need to talk while I try to figure out what I'm doing.
So Reese, what have you been up to? I've heard rumors that you've been active in the video underground universe.
Okay, so
I
I'm
don't know
ready.
if I want to like chill. I don't know if I want to chill my stuff on Ryan's stream. Yeah, okay, let's watch more
Okay.
JF
It's
stuff.
very funny though. Oh, he's ready. He's ready.
Whoa! Look at his finger. Look at his thumb. I just noticed.
Wow.
I'm sorry. That's petty. Look at his thumb. What a weird thumb. It looks like. Okay, never mind. Anyway.
But in my case, I'm
No, it does have an
comfortable enough,
architectural
and
quality
Mama
to
JF
it.
has left me with everything that matters in life, what matters most
We're doing
of
like
life.
some physiognomy.
Okay, guys, you're talking over the video. You're talking over the video.
Sorry.
We need to restart the video. All right. So here we go. 3, 2,
The delay is
1,
hurting us.
and it's going.
But in my case, I'm comfortable enough, and Mama JF has left me with everything that matters in life, what matters most of life. And so, what can I do? I cannot hate her. I cannot be frustrated about this. And that's it. So that's why I had to take 3 days total to... I made so much cleaning, so much
much
reinstalling, so much plastering of the walls, construction, renovation. I wanted to set the home in the way I like it. It's like sterilize this home now. I can walk finally. I can access everything. Fridge is super clean.
Very good. Very good. Sterilize. plastering the walls, sterilizing. And
so it's almost a forensic approach to domestic cleaning, isn't it?
They need to check inside JF's walls and see if they can find her there.
So again, for people who don't understand, the timeline's pretty darn simple, but just in case people don't remember. So 3 days. So what's the 3 days? Where's the thing?
I know Stefan had some stuff to say on this, so hopefully next show we can sort of tie up the loose ends, and Steph will have a chance to comment.
Stefan had some really great arguments on this matter.
Here's the thing. So remember, 3 days. So that's remember June 17th was when he said that he dropped her off for her adventure. June 19th was the claimed second spotting. That was the claimed second spotting. And so we're in, and this was when he was taking the break. So he was taking the break. So this is the break. So June 17th, I'll be on break tonight, and then I'll be on break. I'm going to need a couple of days off, and he took the 18th off and the 19th off. So it was those 3 days that he took off as Mama JF went on her adventure. Excuse me, Elora went on her adventure. I don't want to do that. And that's when he sterilized and redid the plastering. So that's interesting. There's another fun video. Let me find a fun video on JF.
So that's more than just cleaning. I thought he just cleaned his house, but that's a bit more significant.
Yeah, well, he redoing the plastering, but also regarding cleaning.
Yeah.
Here's a fun video on the cleaning. So I'm gonna be playing a video here.
The first step of a sterile exit is to choose your exit and re-entry lobby. Ideally, the lobby is an entrance that is blocked by at least one door from the outside and one door to the inside of your home. The re-entry lobby does not have to be directly connected to your home. A shed could work as well. On days where it does not rain, the re-entry lobby can be located outside. However, on days where it rains, water will diminish the efficacy of your suit disinfectant during your re-entry. An ideal lobby is a place that you do not need to access for other reasons than exiting and re-entering it. If tools or other materials are present in your lobby, paper towels, each individually detached so that you don't have to do it during re-entry, which will help to scrub your protection material. A spray bottle filled with your disinfectant of choice depending on the circumstances, or a bacterial or fungal biological event, keys in your gloves, and if your suit has external pockets, put them in there. Else carry them in your hands. You are good to go.
He has all this stuff, and he has like a PhD in neuro something, a sterile exit.
Of your coat. Be careful in not spraying your mask and face protection. Your disinfectant is dangerous for your eyes. It will help you scrub more easily with less friction than your waterproof gloves. This and not touching
if you want to learn whatever from this video, you can go watch
only
the video.
inside. You rub the items on the floor while exposing the inside of your upper suit, which will be.
But it's like if someone made a comedy about a philosopher murdering his wife, this would be a scene.
Get out of your lower suit and waterproof boots without ever touching their outside. This is accomplished by loosening your feet from your boots while pushing.
Of this, like so. So
like those are the suits people use to whack people, right? And clean up the mess.
It seems like it. So it was plastering, and he shows a video of him.
I mean, like if you were putting together a film about this, and that was some of the footage, and you were like having the conversation, do we keep this in? Everyone would be like, yeah, come on, you can't not have that. Come on.
Okay. Okay, so where are we? So you kind of got me off track. So then I was going to go into the Elora. So the thing is, as for Elora's lifestyle as like a druggie with, almost like a, or whatever that well, we'll see in later videos, which are going to be a little bit longer and have interviews. So where are we? Okay, so on the screen you can see, so JF claims Elora was living homeless before she met him, just wandering around, living in holes and eating from the trash. She looks pretty clean in the photos, happily and fed. 2017, supposedly she was training, going to an automated school, which is at JFG. Was she homeless or in college? So, looks like. So she's in these pictures of an auto mechanical school or something. I don't know. I don't. It looks like main
That looks
something.
like it's made of carbon fiber. So
automobile services or something. So it looks like she has a job or was on track for a job. She mentions having a job. So it doesn't. So this is going to be relevant to something else.
I'm sorry, I just full screened it. It's not carbon fiber. I'm wrong.
Yeah. Also, it's French Canada. They're not advanced. Okay, so here's another. What is this? JF pulls Elora out of lifestyle. All right, here we go.
I pulled Mama JF out of a lifestyle, and I never really got acquainted with this lifestyle. You know, I'm not the kind of
lifestyle.
I don't have respect for human beings, especially not homeless druggies. You know, so I'm not the kind of guy who will approach a female and become friends with her male friends. So what I did with Mama JF is I extracted her from her misery and from her lifestyle, and I brought her to a greater lifestyle, cleaner, less craziness. So that is what I've done. And so when they ask me where could she be, is she friends with this guy? Is she friends with these guys? It's like I have just a general idea that Mama JF is a super social creature of Montreal. And that's what I've been telling them.
So, well, okay, he's speaking extemporaneously. I don't have respect for human beings, especially blah, 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 blah. That just could be a slip of the tongue. I'm not going to read too much into that, but I mean, I don't have respect. Like, the thing, I don't have respect for human beings in general, just for being human. So I don't see that as a bad thing.
Just like contrast that with how most people speak when they met their partner. They say stuff like, it was love at first sight or whatever, and JF's like, I extracted my wife from some environment, and now she's much happier, and she used to be a drug addict. Like, it's just sort of a bizarre use of language when you're talking about your wife.
Oh, this is a long. Wait, what is this?
Wait, there's one with like 20 links, isn't there?
Oh, this is a stupidly long Kiwi post. I have it in here. Maybe. Well, let's see. Blah blah blah.
Which one are you looking for?
Okay, here we go. Here we go. So this is the cost of liberty.
And people are accusing me of murder on the internet. It's like you guys don't know. You guys don't know the police. I've been speaking with the feds on an everyday basis for a couple of days now. So it all stems from Mama JF, you guys know, and I've stated it publicly. In June, she left.
Elora.
She didn't want... it's not even clear why she left, and she's done it in the past. You guys have seen it, who have been following the show for years.
I like the criminal
she wanted to go away. And 2 days after leaving, so she left, and she had a whole plan. She had bought camping material. She was on her way to some sort of survivalist trip. From what I understood, it looked like she was preparing for life in the wild. She promised me when she left that she would always be reachable and that I would be able to reach her to deal with all of the official papers. That she owns a lot of stuff, and sometimes I need her signature. And I was like, and although, we do have legal remedies for this, I was like, if you totally disappear, you might put me in trouble on some bills, on some, getting utilities and everything. So she promised to me that she wouldn't fully disappear. So the last message that she sends me in June, 2 days after leaving, and it had been apparent, I think I may have been in contact for a couple of times during these 2 days, so I was sure that she was progressing through whatever trip she wanted to do. I knew that she was still alive. But 2 days after leaving, She says, I have changed my plans. I will not hold my promise toward you. I will not be reachable. She says, I have a new
After
plan.
2 days, she has a new plan.
And I'm like, does your new plan involve any sort of attack against me or the family? Because you guys know how important that is to me.
Okay.
She says, you don't have to be worried. My new plan does not involve you. I'm just going to change cell phone. Now, I knew that she had left without any sort of electronic tracking. You know how the police can track you with your credit card, with your debit card. She had left with nothing but her phone. So when she said that to me through text, I concluded, okay, she's going off-grid. You know, she's going full survivalism.
Yeah.
So changing her phone, to me, it meant I'm dropping potentially my own identity behind. I'm potentially disappearing in nature. I'm potentially, I mean, she could be anywhere from there. And I was kind of telling that to the police jokingly, half jokingly, but it's like she's a professional fugitive who doesn't commit crimes. So it's like she's going to be hiding from you as hard as she can.
Wow, so like a professional fugitive that doesn't commit crime should be hiding from you as hard as she can. So basically, like impossible to find, like doing the cover-ups of a criminal without.
And how many
without
days?
crime.
How many days after the disappearance is he speaking there? Like quite soon after, isn't it? That's not a year later.
No.
Is it?
Well, the thing is, this all only came out in October. Remember?
So, but I think that video of him. Can we get an approximate time scale for this? You know, I think
It's gonna be early.
Basically-
Okay. Oh wait, October 4th. October 4th.
Okay, so there's quite a famous video of some parents who killed their children in the United States, and there's this famous video of the woman giving a press conference, and she speaks to the police, and she talks about the tragedy, and then there's this moment where she smiles at the camera, and it looks like really weird on the freeze frame. And the psychologist there's a name for it. One of you guys might know. It's called something
Duper's
like
Delight.
Duper's Delight. Well done, Ryan. That's the one. And his immediate breaking into laughter at that point, to me, it struck me as possibly an example of that.
Possibly.
It looked a lot like it to me.
Possibly, but remember, JF is weird. So standard psychoval.
Yeah.
I don't want to do. I just want to. I just want to stick. I just want to stick to the stories that. I just want to stick to what he said.
Sure.
Okay, let's continue.
While also not having anything to reproach to herself. So that is what I've been knowing since June. And of course, you're faced with the big, should I call the police? This is a willing woman, a willing adult woman doing her willing stuff. So I've not called the police because in my view, there was no evidence of criminality. There was no evidence of distress. It looked like, to me, someone who has decided to go survivalism. I don't want to be in the society where buying camping material.
Okay, so just I want to clarify. This is October 4th, so he's still on the she's going out in the woods. By October 6th, when there's the second sighting, supposedly of her in further in like a city area. Then her bag gets lighter, and it's not surviving in the woods, but it's off-grid, sort of urban jungle sort of thing. All right, so I'm going to continue the video.
Gets you reported to the feds, and I am bound to Mama JF's interest because I've loved her, and I still love her, and I still consider I consider myself allied to her forever. Forever, no matter what she does, even if she goes out there getting other boyfriends. And I've decided that this was not warranting a call to the police in June. And I've spoken to her family, and they thought similarly, this is Mama JF. she is an out there woman, and it's not the first time she does this. In the absence of any evidence of harm or that she's doing something evil to someone else, there's no reason to call the police. From what I heard, this is not an interaction that I had myself, but someone who was worried in the family spoke to an investigator and said,
okay, so this I don't know. This is like, okay, so I'm going to continue here. So
but someone who was worried in the family spoke to an investigator and said, look, those are the facts. It's a woman. She leaves like this. She wanted to leave. She gets herself equipped with camping material and all. Is this a disappearance? Is this something we should signal? And the investigator had said, well, no, this looks like a consensual trip.
So I don't know. I mean, the problem is all we have is JF saying this, that her family brought in some sort of investigator. Is this a Royal Canadian Mounted Police investigator? Is this a private investigator? So we don't. So this is, I don't know. This is just sort of this should be in one ear out the other because it's nothing, right? So
that was the state in June and July, but then, the months pass and now we're in October. When is it that worries are justified? And so there was a building up of stress in the people who love her. And my position has always been to all of these people, to any friend of Mama JF and to any person involved, my position has been, I saw her go. I saw her wanting to go. And so okay. I don't need to call the police. But if you feel that it warrants a call to the police, I respect you and you go ahead and call them.
No idea
and
if any of this
I will
is
not
true.
say who ended up calling, but someone ended up noticing that somehow Mama JF was missing and maybe knew about me. I don't know. I don't know exactly how it all happened, but someone ended up noticing, hey, there's this girl and her loved ones don't know where she is. And so they made a call to the police, and this launched a whole investigation that I've been involved in for, I don't know, maybe 4 days, 5 days, I don't know. But the feds are coming regularly at my house. They are waking me in the morning. There's lots of people making jokes right now on the social media, like, Jeff, where did you hide the body and all. I knew that this was coming to this no matter what, because we live in a society that just can't accept the cost of liberty. The cost of liberty is you're going to have a bunch of females make terrible decisions. But no, I have not killed Mama JF, and I would be very surprised that I'm even considered.
Okay, so just keep in mind, like, people are going to be a little bit suspect that a woman with a child is going to decide to go off into the woods to live in the woods. Okay,
especially when there's even a question over decide whether she's even fully competent to make those sort of decisions.
Right. And especially since the woman appears to be slow. So the woman appears to be slow, and she's abandoning her child to go live in the woods. Okay, so that, I mean, I don't know. I mean, even if you're totally innocent, you shouldn't really berate people for seeing that as a little bit weird. All right, I'll continue then. Continuing?
A suspect in any way.
Oh, here we go.
I've not killed Mama JF, and I would be very surprised that I'm even considered a suspect in any way.
Okay, so he's very surprised that he would even be considered a suspect in any way. So, so he says that the RCMP is camped outside his house, and they're questioning him every day. I would assume that would make. I mean, I would assume I was a suspect. If the police were coming to my house every day, asking me questions, I would assume I was a suspect. But whatever.
Because I have left records, I have left electronic traces of my dropping her alive in front of cameras of a gas station.
Cameras. So I find this a little bit interesting. He remembers that there were cameras at the gas station. Reese, when you go to a gas station, is that and you drop someone off? Do you check to see if there's cameras?
Every time.
Every time.
Go all around. Yeah, every time.
But he was pretty. But he knew that there was cameras there. So
yeah,
cameras are really cool, Ryan. Every time you see cameras, don't you go like, "Wow, cameras!" Yeah, you remember that.
So
well, JF, he might.
Again, this is the problem: is JF is weird. So maybe it's possible. That's the problem with this whole thing. Is JF so maybe he does. maybe
if JF has worked for some sort of national security agency and they've trained him to be sort of hyper alert to all of these relevant infrastructural features, well then is he like Jason Bourne perhaps?
Yeah, I mean he did get funded by Epstein, so.
Oh well, then okay. There's a perfectly reasonable explanation.
There's also another perfectly reasonable explanation related to Epstein, but okay. We'll continue.
So, like back to his before you going back to his like libertarian arguments. Like I can imagine if like someone wants to go into the woods and you've like called them a bunch of times and the police has checked on them and then they keep saying no, I want to go off by myself. Like then you would respect their. You'd have your libertarian perspective and say, okay, well, they've made it clear they want to go, but no one knows where she is, and so not calling the police is really weird in that situation.
Let me ask you this: what if you had a 10-year-old child who said, "I'm gonna go live in the woods"? Would a parent go, "Oh, well, you're 10 years old, you're an adult. You're free to make that decision. Go live in the woods." Libertarian?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. And I mean that's kind of what this is from like a cognitive standpoint, in my opinion. Not to throw shade on Elora, but I think that's kind of what it's like.
Someone in chat said JF Bourne. So well done, that man. Maybe he passed on some of his training. Maybe he passed on some of his specialist training to her before she went off in search.
Well, he does refer to her as like 007. I think I have a video of that. Anyway.
I didn't know that.
So I'll finish off. Together. I'll finish off this clip here.
There has been plenty of electronic records of the fact that she was alive many days after leaving me.
Plenty of electronic records.
After asking me to drop her at a certain location. The feds are still very thirsty for information, so they keep coming back. And honestly, I'm very impressed by the quality of their work, but it's like they understand also that I'm a guy on the internet, so I'm not... I have a high security home. I'm not going to let them in, but
so
they want to know exactly what she said before leaving. They want traces of where were you when you dropped her, who could know her, who are her friends. And it's like I pulled Mama JF out of a lifestyle, and I never really got acquainted with this lifestyle. I'm not the kind of... I don't have respect for human beings, especially not homeless druggies, So I'm not the kind of guy who will approach a female and become friends with her male friends. So what I did with Mama JF is I extracted her from her misery and from her lifestyle, and I brought her to a greater lifestyle, cleaner,
sterilized even.
Less craziness. It's amazing to see the conversations between them and me, because I'm actually less motivated at finding Mama JF than they are. I've never requested any of this. And so I'm like to these feds, I'm like, please understand. You're going to pursue a fugitive who has committed 0 crime. Probably Mama JF is out there having.
You're pursuing. He's basically saying, I don't want to look for her, and you're not gonna find her. I mean, he's a fancy way of saying all that, which I think is true. I think it's true.
Having fun.
All right.
It's a source of curiosity that he is both refusing to allow the police entrance to his house and saying that on camera, because, well, you're cooperating with the police or you're not. Once you're not letting the police in your house, you're not cooperating with the police. So he's now gone to like the high risk strategy of, well, either arrest me, get the court order, find the evidence, make it happen, or, you know, I'm a free man. And I don't know. Well, they've either bundled the investigation, or he's done such a fantastic job of hiding the evidence.
Well, here, let me. I heard from somewhere that I know in the U.S. it's like 40% of homicide cases go unsolved, and I think it's about the same in Canada. So 40%, meaning that if you kill someone in a competent way and plan to cover up the evidence, you probably have a greater than 50% chance of getting away with it. That's the reality.
I think it's skewed because of ghetto blacks killing each other at alarming rates, and then not talking to the police. So yeah, that's artificially skewing it. But
I think I think the ghetto blacks probably have a higher closure rate because they're not. It's not a mastermind thing. It's impulsive. Whereas if you really like plan it, cover it up, I guess you have a greater than 50% chance of getting away.
That's interesting. I'd like to see statistics on that, because the blacks have like a code of silence and they don't talk to the police. Even when little children have been shot, they still just won't cooperate with the police, apparently, from what I read in Jared Taylor's material. I should quote sources from the books I've recorded, but I believe there is some evidence for that.
Okay.
However, I don't know if that would be compensated for by, as you say, you've got a mastermind, someone planning it out, high IQ, does it well, but it's in an environment of white people who are more likely to report things to the police, to report odd stuff to the police. Yeah. I wonder if that would cancel out,
Yeah, perhaps. All right, here's somebody saying, Alt-Hype asked to be on JF's show years ago and then didn't show up, no class. That's not. No, that's not how. First off, it was with Richard Spencer. It was me and Richard Spencer, and then at on the day of the event, right? They said, "Oh, we're gonna do it on JF's stream," right? Which was not something I agreed to beforehand. And then Richard Spencer went on JF's stream, and then said that Ryan refused to do what he agreed to. Okay, that's what that was. But anyway, but let's continue.
And that same guy is eagerly pointing out there's no body. Well, yeah, a year later and there's no body. Right.
Well, this is like I mean, the case might be cold now, but anyway, let's continue.
Exposing herself to huge risks. The risks of street life and anonymous life. When no one is there to care for you, you are at risk, because no one knows. No one knows if someone has raped you and just put your body in a ditch, and
That's a good point.
One is there to check. That's the consequence of anonymity. That's
let me repeat that line there. Let me. I think that bears repeating, JF. I think JF gave us a good point regarding this.
Street life and anonymous life. When no one is there to care for you, you are at risk, because no one knows. No one knows if someone has raped you and just put your body in a ditch.
Yeah.
And no one is there to check. That's the consequence of anonymity. That's the consequence of having no one. That is the cost of liberty. Shadowban says, if someone could get away with murder, it's JF. But if someone could get away with faking their death, it's Mama JF. That is absolutely correct.
Well, I agree. So, interesting stuff. All right, so what do we have next on the docket?
Can I just be the one to say it? The thing that stands out is he can joke about his educationally subnormal wife being the mastermind of her own fake death after she's gone missing. There's something you have to find an exotic explanation for that.
And he was joking with the police.
Radical lack of empathy. I mean, I think that just is. I mean, and
or
I think
alternatively, he may just like not care about her. Like, didn't she break up with him before she left? And that could be his
according to
about her.
Yeah, I mean, according to the story, that's what happened. According to the story, that's what happened. So, yeah, theoretically, you listen to him. She did basically, quote unquote, dump him, but she left. Whatever.
The thing is with this.
Interestingly enough, she left, but she didn't take any money with her. No debit cards, no credit cards. Took a phone, supposedly destroyed the phone, and then had nothing and has not been seen since. So
I'm gonna defend JF briefly. I'm gonna be like I guess like the Atticus Finch of the group. I'm going to defend like a clearly guilty guy. Like when he's joking with the police about her death, and he's like clearly not emotional about her disappearance, and he just seems very cold. Like that looks pretty guilty. But we've got to remember that it is JF that we're dealing with here. Right. Just like the other stuff we said before, like we've got to take that into account. I think if he had a wife who he loved dearly and she like went missing, I think like a few hours after or let's say she died and everyone could see that she was dead, I think JF would be like emotional for like a few hours after that. And then like maybe the next day he would just be saying like, yes, my wife is dead. She's no longer in the public space. She is now in the ground. Like he would like just speak matter-of-factly about it probably like the day after. So I don't think we can make any conclusive arguments based on that.
So that's why I don't like the trying to I think trying to emotionally read JF is a blind alley. So I think it's a bad.
Yes, he's dressed himself in so much emotional camouflage to begin with that it's just who knows.
Yeah. What else? So there's two. Okay, we'll start with this one. That's kind of interesting. Is this it? No, that's not it. Okay, we'll start with this. Display. Yoink.
They have understood that it was true, that I did drop my wife on June 17th at this gas station.
Like they have like video evidence from the gas station?
I don't know what they have, but I know that they
Okay, so video evidence tends to be deleted after like 90 days. I don't know. That's what I'm hearing. So, well, certainly now that's gone. But at the time of this recording, there's a good chance any video would have been erased anyway. So, who knows if there was or wasn't. But continue.
Believe me.
How do you know that?
Well, because they have affirmed that they have had a sighting of Mama Jeff 2 days later.
Okay, hold on. We have a non sequitur here. So, chat, can you see the non sequitur?
Have like video evidence from the gas station.
I don't know what they have, but I know that they believe me.
They believe him.
How do you know that?
How do you know?
Well, because they have affirmed that they have had a sighting of Mama Jeff 2 days later.
So he knows that they have video evidence from the gas station because there was a reported sighting of Elora 2 days later. So we're getting So non sequitur. All right.
At some other place that
Completely
is totally in
unrelated
line
things.
with where I dropped her, and imagining that she has continued her way after this gas station.
Right. So that was one thing. There's just a little non sequitur that I saw there. That was interesting to show. Basically, doesn't. So we don't have direct evidence that any of us in the public know of any video recording of this gas station drop off at all. So,
and if you look at his face when he's responding to her there with that non
Okay.
sequitur, you can see that grimace on his face as if that is he may be aware of
yeah,
that.
perhaps kind of aware that he has to commit a non sequitur, but I don't want to get. I don't like doing that. I don't like doing that stuff. So
No, just saying it just jumped out at me. That's all.
So this is a long thing. Where is it? Okay, so this is it's cut up. It's just audio. This is JF on the Dick Masterson show. It's 39 minutes long. I don't know how we're gonna go through this. Is there a double speed? There's not a double speed. Wait, is there? Okay, so we'll go with 1.25, make it a little shorter. So I think
there was a separate document which gave like the highlights from the videos, like a couple of paragraphs, just giving a rundown.
Yeah. What do we want to do? Do we want to go through? I mean, that doesn't have the same impact. That doesn't have the same bite as when he's actually saying it.
True.
When he's actually describing, like, okay. Okay. Basically, the point of the Dick Masterson show was, did I screw that up? I did screw that up. I don't have the talking points. But really, the point was that he talks about how he knows how to spoof digital traces, basically. He talks about setting up a program where that kind of simulates cell phone activity on your phone. As for moving the cell phone around, I don't know exactly how that would be done, but he has that is what he's saying. He has that was the point of the Dick Masterson show, is that he knows how to spoof to some extent the electronic traces. And so in several interviews he's talking about these electronic traces. And I think that's...
I mean, it's the kind of thing where if you had a PR agent, then they would probably advise you don't say stuff like that on TV. It looks really weird and bad, and just keep your mouth shut. But on the other hand, the way he talks about it, he seems generally eager to present himself as knowledgeable and knowing about X, Y, Z. And
right.
It's just part of what.
Right,
and there's just a casual disregard for how bad it looks.
Yeah, and so that's kind of a problem, because it's like you can see that JF, like most people, if they were in the situation he was in at this time, they would shut up. They would know to shut up. But JF, when someone goes to him and says, "Hey, JF, so if you hypothetically, if you were to commit a murder, if you were to kill Elora, how would you do it?" And then he would describe it. Say, "Well, the first thing I would have to do is provide an electronic trace. I would use software programs that simulate activity as I carried Mama JF's cell phone around places. I would report sightings of her in multiple locations. I would, right?"
Yeah.
So you could see
you run into this problem, don't you? You ask yourself the question: all right, how would he behave if he was guilty? Okay, and now how would he behave if he was not guilty? Like that still, because it's him.
Because it's him. It's the problem. So
I'm waiting for him to write a book like O.J. Simpson, just like
if I did it,
if I did it, and he'll like try to sell it from every
I think
screen.
he said. I think he said that. I think he said, like, if I did. It was just an offhand comment. I don't read too much into that. I think that's just JF being JF, but it's a funny sort of meanie line. He also went on The Crucible, and that's another 1 hour, 13-minute interview. And it's really long, and I think that's... I don't know. Well, why don't we just do the jury deliberation? What do we think? Did he do it? What do we think?
Well, Kyle, sorry, Reese, I should say, you go first.
Yes.
I think there is a because I know I don't want to say exactly what you said before because I think we all sort of agree. I'll say there's a 60% chance that he did it, which I think is lower than you guys. And if I was on a jury, I would vote innocent because it's going to be beyond reasonable doubt. But yeah, he probably did it. Yeah, yes, correct.
Okay, so you think he probably did it? All right, Rob, what do you say?
Well, I have gone through every range of emotion and position during this litigation. Honestly, I found myself, you know how there are some people where you look at their face and there's just immediately, and then a bit of time passes and it becomes quite painful to keep looking and you just want to look away or change channel, whatever it might be. So I don't have that with JF. I can look at his like chubby little nice French face and he's quite sort of charismatic. I find myself liking him and sympathizing with him, you know, for all his weirdness. But you know, I found myself sitting there looking at his face, thinking, oh, I'm a terrible person. I'm impugning all of these motives, perhaps, or you know, speculating on what he might have done. And what if he's just a poor, completely innocent guy, and he's been through all this, you know, trouble with talking to the feds, and of course his wife, you know. But I've bounced back again because he's her, and he's telling you that she was on the phone announcing that she's decided to change her cell phone and live the XYZ life. That's the same woman that's going, you gave me cheese for 2 days.
I only ate cheese for 2 days. Why you feed me cheese for 2 days?
Cheese. And by the way, I'm going to have an independent life and change my cell phone and contract provider an ISP and go off grid. And
I'm going to abandon my infant child and go live in the woods. Oh, excuse me.
And she's
in
the woods. She's yeah.
But she's like she's 007. She's 007.
Right.
Yeah, but so the thing is, I recommend the Crucible interview and the Dick Masterson interview. I think in there he mentions that she's like 007. Mentions her going through traveling to Spain and into Morocco and Algeria and stuff, which, you know, may be true without a passport. So, yeah, maybe that's true. Maybe, but like, I don't know. This sounds like killing.
And among all of this,
it sounds like
there's the fun.
Go ahead.
Sorry. There's the fundamental question that you kind of can't always fully ignore of how did that relationship even get off the ground? There's a guy who's a PhD neuroscientist with an IQ of, let's say, 130 something or 40 something, perhaps, on a good day. And he is having penetrative sex with a woman who can perhaps dress herself, you know, if things work out well. And that's a bit weird, isn't it? Right from the start. And then you end up sympathizing with him. Well, of course, that's going to put pressure on you. How is that sustainable? You know, but then you don't want to sympathize with a murderer. Clearly, that's not the way out. So, too many considerations. Yeah. It's rather overwhelming, really.
Yeah.
So, what's your final ruling?
Well, no, I have to give
my final ruling or Ryan's.
Well, I have to give my opinion.
Yours.
I have opinion.
Oh, I'll defer to Ryan. What Ryan says.
Okay, thanks. So
can juries do that? I'll just go with what this other jury member says. I don't want
so there was an interesting clip. So there's an interesting clip. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to track. I saw it, but I guess I didn't put it in the clip, or maybe it's in one of these longer videos that I didn't want to put on here. But apparently, in one episode, he talks about Elora barging into the stream, showing with something that would violate like the chief rule of his strain, right? That that this was going to be, that this was like the biggest rule, and he can't even say what it is. So he can't say what the rule is, but it's the biggest violation, whatever, the biggest rule that he has for her. So
there is some long-term social optimism there.
Okay, so I have a theory as to what this thing that she barged into his streaming room was, why it was the biggest rule violation, and why he can't tell the audience about it. And that's because she was carrying their infant child. He doesn't want to show the infant child on camera, perhaps because he wants to be off grid. But I think that's what it was. I think she was barging in with the infant child. That's my idea on that. I don't know if that's what it was, but that's what I think. That's what it was. And shortly after that, she wasn't on camera ever again from that point, and then she went on her adventure. So,
wow.
something to keep in mind. And then shortly after her adventure, now my dates are getting a little bit fuzzier. I don't know the dates. He then found another partner after she left. So now, in terms of, there's two different questions. Like, if I was on a jury, how would I rule? Unfortunately, I would have to rule not guilty because there is reasonable doubt. JF's behavior is sussy, but he's a sussy person in general. He's a weird guy in general. He's not going to be like a normal person would shut up in that situation. But for JF, when someone says, "So, how would you try to get away with murder?" he would see that as like an intellectual exercise and explain how, which, so basically JF's not normal, and so the normal rules of like kind of psychological implications don't apply. Him not allowing the police into his house, that would be suspect for a normal person, but for JF, who's like a real, like, hardcore libertarian, sort of castle doctrine, he's not going to let anyone into his house without a warrant. So it's less suspect when JF bars them out. And now here's what I would do. I would charge JF with a kind of criminal negligence. I would say he's guilty of that, right? Because if his story is completely true, then he is basically saying if we take everything he says at face value, what he's doing is he's taking a woman who's clearly not totally there, dropping her off at a gas station with basically
he's shirking
nothing.
his share of the responsibility there, isn't he?
Yeah.
It's like you have a partnership, you're expected to support one another. Well, in the same sense that he can't gestate a fetus and have a baby because he's a man, she can't like do intellectual planning and things because she's educationally subnormal. So
Right.
you'd expect him to step up and he's abjectly, so it would at least appear on the surface, to allow that lady to go out into the woods.
Right.
I mean, Christ
So,
on God.
and the thing is with JF, I think he knows. Well, first off, if we go with the original story that she's going out into the wilderness, okay, she's gonna die. Like let's get real here. She's going to die. And if JF is letting her wander
what
off
did he expect to do? Eat acorns? I mean,
if JF is saying, go wander off into the wilderness, she is going to die. Assuming she stays out there and doesn't come back, shortly. She may survive, 2 days, but if she goes out into the wilderness and she's not back within 4 days, I would say there's about an 80% chance that she's dead. By October, she's almost certainly dead. But by the time the missing persons report came out, and JF is saying, "Oh, well, she wandered off into the wilderness." Okay, like JF knows that if that's true, that if he left the mother of his child walk off into the wilderness, given her mental faculties, that by October she would be dead. And JF does not believe this stuff about her being 007 or street smart or whatever. Not that street smart would even matter based on the October 4th story, which was she's going out into the wilderness. The street smart stuff only makes sense
to any normal person watching that video. That's just deploying the phrase "street smart" in the context of referring to that lady is just what? There's this jarring moment of, did he just say street smart about her?
It's more than just street smarts as well. You need to be have Bear Grylls smarts. You need to be like a survivalist if she's out in the actual wilderness.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying is the street smart stuff doesn't apply. First off, I don't believe that, but even if you do, that doesn't apply to the October 4th story. Right, the October 4th story, which she's going out into the wilderness somewhere. The story that she went into an urban area to live off grid but in civilization. That was a story that came about on October 6th when the second sighting was reporting her in Moncton, which is sort of an urban-ish area. So I would rule him as guilty of manslaughter. That's what I would basically.
Well,
putting her in a situation where she would certainly die. That's how I would rule.
Yeah.
But murder. It's kind of like if the October 4th story of her going into the wilderness, if that was the true story, then he's basically a murderer. Because he knows. He's not retarded. He knows that she's going to die. Especially if she's not back by October, she's dead. Like 90% chance she's dead. As for going into the city, better chance, but the thing is that's a separate story. So which one is it? So we need to know, is it the October 4th story of going into the wilderness, or is it the October 6th story of going into Moncton? Which one's the real story? So either way, I think any way you slice it, JF clearly wanted to be rid of her. So that's my conclusion on that. About 11 months too late after all this blew up. I'm just talking about this like 11 months later. I'm also missing some.
Another thing that's going to throw a spanner in the works, of course, is JF's had this whole career of on YouTube and on the internet debating people. And he's so used to people trying to provoke some emotional response from him. He's that's nothing new to him. So when he's in a police interview and they try the usual tricks to sort of trap him and provoke him and whatever, he's so used to just taking that pause and not diving into it reflexively. So yeah, that's going to further complicate things, isn't it? Really.
Okay. So anyway, Jack M says they live in PEI, Prince Edward Island. There is no deep, dark forest or wilderness there. It's a very tiny island. Okay. So maybe not.
So in what sense was she into survivalism, one wonders then?
You can literally see across Prince Edward Island.
So
charge him with manslaughter.
Where is she supposed to have practiced the survivalism?
Iffy on the stream, LMAO. Can I see his picture? Oh no, guys. Okay, people are asking about Steph. Steph, he found a rather unique owl on his bird watching trip, so he wasn't able to be here today. So I'm sorry, guys.
And look, I know that might sound a bit silly to some people, but you know, if you are passionate about those things,
Oh
then
yeah,
it's like you don't get to control where the owls show up, basically.
that's right.
So
That's
you
right.
know you are at the mercy of
I mean,
like migration patterns and all
he's
kinds
done
of stuff.
so many streams. He's done so many streams. But when the special owl shows up, and you know you can't ignore that, right? You gotta.
If you,
I think it's a
You gotta take it
protected
where it
species
is.
as well, isn't it? I think the thing that's he's
it
doing his
is,
It is
and
okay.
and if you knew
I'm not an expert on
Stefan
birds,
and
by the
how
way,
passionate,
so.
if you knew Stefan and how passionate he is about bird watching, like this behavior would make complete sense.
Yeah. Well, I'm totally sure he'll be on next time. Totally confident that he'll be on next time. No way. No
To be
way.
honest, I mean,
no way there'll be
it's
another
it's
reason
only
for him not.
There's a 100% chance he'll be on next time.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
100%
chance. You know, like, half the time he'll be here. All the time, half the time. Bingo.
I mean, look,
All right.
it's a pity in a way he's had so much success as a philosopher, because otherwise I'm sure he'd be world famous as an ornithologist, and then people would have a lot more sympathy for our predicament this evening.
Yeah.
But well, there you are. What can you do?
Unfortunate. All right. So, what were we? So that's all the prepared content that I have for the stream. So, so anything to talk about here on? Oh shoot! I lost the. Hold on. Do I have?
OMG.
Okay, go ahead, guys. Does anyone have anything to say? Let me do my
I have one little snippet, but I'll hand over to Reese first, though.
Okay.
I mean, so this is a free will thing, right?
Well, not in any direct, immediate way. No.
Well, I didn't have my own stuff. I don't know if you wanted to mention talk about the George Lucas stuff. I thought I'd remind you of that, but you might want to save that for another stream.
Well, shall I throw in this snippet and Ryan can decide if he wants to follow up with George Lucas? How about that?
Okay.
No, I don't.
Well,
no, when we do the George Lucas, I want to be more prepared for that.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough.
Well, so I caught a video earlier today, actually. You know, I had my pretentious arty farty thing to say. You know, it falls upon me as the resident Brit to do that. And it was a video where it was about Miyamoto. You know, about the famous Nintendo guy who made Zelda and all the rest of it. And as many of you here will know, no doubt. And apparently, there's a question that people should have asked him that they didn't ask him in all these interviews over the years. When he's talked about Zelda and where it came from, the origins and the kind of the identity of it, he's always said it's supposed to be a miniature garden, and this is how his phrase has been translated from Japanese into English: a miniature garden. And some guy was on YouTube made a video about this, and it turns out that a better translation from the Japanese would be something like box garden. And there's this whole tradition and culture in Japan of these box gardens. They're like these kind of little Zen, we might say a Zen garden. And
The ones
they
with the sand.
yeah, including those things. That's right, with the raked sand and the bonsai trees strategically planted. That kind of, that's right, miniature landscape. And they interviewed this guy who was a Japanese expert on this, and he talked in English about these things. And he said that it's a Zen tradition where the aim is to tell a story and suggest a kind of living story in miniature with the minimal amount of content. So most of it is just empty space, and the challenge is to see what the minimum amount of content is you can have to then imply or suggest or tell a story. And it made me think about some of the things Ryan was saying about AI, about the way that it tries to, you know, whittle down the key elements and organize things into some systemic way. It's got a similar kind of task, maybe in the other direction. So yeah, that.
What?
Was Miyamoto talking about Hyrule being like that? Like that's
Yes,
like a sand
exactly,
garden,
yes.
the entire landscape of the game.
Yes, precisely that.
Ooh.
So how does that relate to AI? I'm sorry. I'm
Oh, that the Zen challenge. The Zen
Lost.
challenge is to take that the Zen challenge is to take a complex story describing a big reality with lots of content, but imply that or suggest that through some simple representation in a Zen garden, in the way that perhaps with some analogy to the way AI is trying to represent complex situations and with whittling them down into systemic matrices of measurable and recallable data.
Perhaps. I don't think. Okay, so there was a comment from a guy on the previous stream. Oh, by the way, the previous stream got copyright struck by what I think is a scam copyright channel that so because there were a bunch of blogs that were saying that they got copyright struck by what was it, story something, anyway. But yeah, so it's so there was a bogus thing about that, but I don't know. I don't think. But anyway, on that video, there was a guy commenting that he's been working in AI for 10 years and he was having secondhand embarrassment regarding how we were talking about it, which I thought was kind of funny. I mean, it's probably true. But I don't think...
Come on, though. I hope this guy, though, still respects your efforts, because you were doing what you were doing in earnest, and come on, he's welcome to make suggestions to improve the process.
That's right. I'm trying the best I can. But I don't know, people expect me to be like an expert on it, on everything or something, because there's like a few topics that I really deep dive into, so I can't be an idiot on other things.
Give Ryan a break.
Let me be an idiot.
Racism in AI.
Let me ramble about things I don't know anything about, because the things I do know stuff about aren't allowed on YouTube. Basically.
I mean, yeah, you got to give him a break. Like, Ryan is the best scientist and historian of our time, so you got to cut him some slack.
No, don't say that, dude. Don't.
Oh yeah, by the way,
it's true.
One other thing. Excuse me, I have to say this. Ryan also issued a challenge to everyone, saying he's the biggest, strongest, most powerful man in the world, and he wants to have a big punching competition with all strong men. He also said that, definitely, and that's true.
That's true.
That's exactly what
very true. Very true, Steve.
Okay. Don't Google search Whitezilla. All right. So, what's going on in the comments? AI people are all insufferable. The one thing they hate more than laymen talking about AI is other AI experts talking about AI that aren't them. So, Infendo does not like AI people.
Well, look, in defense of AI people, as I've done a little bit of preparation for this, I've noticed that there seems to be something approaching a consensus among these lot, that the expected returns are not actually appearing, and they may the curve may be sort of flattening out a little bit. So it seems that they've reached a point where it doesn't matter how many millions of dollars they throw at things and how big they make the data set, they haven't suddenly magically now got this artificial general intelligence which is telling them how to make anti-gravity machines. It's kind of, they're hitting a bit of a brick wall, and so they're less insufferable now. Their feet are kind of coming back to the ground,
Yeah. But
you know what I've noticed about AI is, like, when I'm talking to an AI, I'm accidentally considering it to be like a real human. Like, I was asking ChatGTP a question the other day, and then it gave me a really good answer, and I wasn't thinking, but I just wrote, "Oh, thank you, that's a good answer," and then it was like, "You're welcome," and then I was like, "Why did I say that? Like, it's an AI. It's not going to be like grateful that I'm responding that way."
Yeah, so I've increasingly come to see it as like, well, I mean, I talked about it on the previous stream for anyone who saw it, though the stream is copyright struck right now. But I mean, I'm increasingly seeing it as like this weird, like, in my mind's eye, I don't know if it has qualia or not, but I don't think it's like, I don't think it has an ego. I don't think it has, right? I don't think it's like cares about your compliments or anything like that. It's not like it's like, I don't think if it has like any kind of qualia. Well, first off, I'm not sure if it has any qualia at all. But if it does, it's certainly not related that much specifically to the particulars of the text chat that you're feeding it. That it's mostly just an experience
one
that
of the
is
things it does,
kind of unrelated.
I think one of the things it does is draw your attention to the general lack of standards and sort of decline in politeness in the general population. Because when it says, thank you for, or I'm very excited to, or it's my pleasure to, you sort of just notice how rarely it is that you hear those kind of things these days.
They're basically just like Japanese people, the AIs.
Yeah, that is sort of interesting. It's also. Ryan, I hate philosophy race, but let me talk about the quality of AI for 3 hours, Falk. So this is from Cervix Smacker. Cervix Smacker also said that that we could have Steph on, and where was it? And Steph would give like the worst philosophy arguments, and I would give the worst anti-philosophy arguments. Possibly true.
I tell you what, for the next stream, one of the things we know about Steph, he's got a very good camera, so we're going to get some super high definition pictures of owls to stream next time. So
well, we don't know if he's found the owl yet. I think he's still looking for it.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus.
Well, I don't have anything else to talk about on our whatever stream. I don't know what we should call it. The whatever stream.
Oh, I saw a funny video about some Twitter tweets getting on an Australian program that was quite amusing. But, I suppose people might want to reach out through Twitter. Yeah.
Don't
reach out through Twitter.
Well, we'll talk about that when Reese wants to talk about that. That's
Sure.
I mean, I don't mind either way. I just didn't want to like bomb your stream with like my stuff.
Well, no, that's fine if you want to. I mean, but I'm about ready. I don't have any more content, and we're just rambling on. Ryan Falk hates philosophy because he doesn't know how to do it.
The only thing I'll say is that during this entire stream, there's been this huntsman on my wall, and it's been sort of making me a bit nervous. And I'm going to try to catch it when the stream's over.
For people who don't realise that's a spider, he doesn't have an African man clinging to his wall.
No.
Or an abo. Just abos randomly crawling over your.
And to the person who said that
over your shack in the middle of the Australian outback, because that's what Australia is. It's like a giant desert, and you live in like this little shack in the desert.
Yeah, well, the desert is like the desert is the Aboriginal containment zone, and I live in the suburbs, which is fairly Aboriginal free.
Yeah.
What he has to do?
We have Sudanese here instead.
What Reese has to do is he throws a boomerang with either a 1 or a 0 on it, and he has to wait for it to come back, and that's a packet, and that's his internet.
There you go.
This is true. That's why it's a bit laggy and slow sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes he doesn't catch the boomerang, and there's a bit of lag. There's a spike.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm ready to end the stream. I don't think
good stream.
Maybe stream.
I think we got to the bottom of the JF case pretty conclusively.
Yeah. 11 months too late. 11 months too late.
We should pass on this research to the Canadian mountain police. And
yes, I'm sure we're cutting edge.
They want to. They're like, oh, we didn't consider all this stuff that Ryan's talking about. Thank you.
The case went cold until.
Yes, exactly. All right.
We didn't know all this stuff about you.
Want to take calls, maybe? You know what? Not this stream, because I don't have anything set up for taking calls. But maybe later. But maybe you know what? Maybe I could set up something for taking calls. In fact, that'd be a great way to have a stream without having to produce content.
Yeah, can we take suggestions from the stream about what might be the best way to take calls, whether that's Discord or
Discord is very convenient, but it's also very sensory, very shitty. Telegram but it's Telegram. I don't know.
I don't know.
I suppose
We'll have
we
to
could
look
we
for
could
some.
make a Twitter space and only allow people to speak when they're when they want to call in, as it were.
Could try that. Well, either way,
I'm curious to see what the public think of our conversation. Do we want to like check with the chat? Maybe say like put in ones in the chat if you think JF is guilty, and twos if you think he's innocent, and see what the public think.
Oh, I can start a poll. Here we go. Okay, we'll do.
We can start a poll. Straw poll. The website doesn't exist anymore, but there are other polls.
Is JF guilty? Are Aboriginals black, or are they're their own race? In fact, they're more distant from blacks than from sub-Saharan, They're Melanesians are more distant from Bantus than Europeans are from Bantus. They're like the most distant two populations. Right. So that's the power. That's the power of genetic drift, but they're similar phenotypically because they evolved in similar environments. Okay. Is JF guilty of?
You might want to repeat the key for voting because people miss these things. So if you want that in the chat, or are you posting a poll?
I'm posting a poll.
Good.
And to be clear, is that going to appear on YouTube or Twitter, or where are you posting it?
It's in the YouTube chat. So here we go, and we are. Hold on.
They want 3 options. What will be the third one that you don't know?
Yes, no, manslaughter.
Oh, okay, cool.
Those will be the 3 options. I don't want too much nuance. So
yeah.
So those
what about undecided? You're not going to have undecided.
If undecided,
vote manslaughter.
If you don't,
vote manslaughter if you're undecided.
I put manslaughter. Undecided. I think the poll is available.
Yeah, I would add undecided to that because you don't know how many people are undecided unless they vote and say it.
Well, actually, that's a good way to get those fence-sitter votes.
Oh, okay.
So. You know what? Have you guys ever watched Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, where they do the audience vote? I'm surprised that they never vote strategically. Like you as the audience, you as the contestant could get the audience to all vote for like A, unless they're 100% sure what the answer is, and then they vote for the correct answer.
Can I see? I can't see.
And that would be.
I can't see the poll. Is the poll there? Can you guys see the poll? I can't.
Yeah,
see
I can see it.
Yeah,
51% say he's guilty.
1/4 of the people think he is in no way guilty.
Okay.
Oh, it's gone up. It's gone up. About 29% think he is in no way guilty.
It's 50. Exactly 50 say he is guilty.
Well, no, and plus the 24 who say he's guilty of manslaughter.
Oh, true, yeah. But guilty of murder. He's just autistic, not a murderer, says M&D.
Let it be known.
It's no crime
this
to be autistic,
cultist
guys.
Things. JF is innocent. Let it be known that this Ryan Falk cultist things. I guess that's the audience. JF is innocent, not because he didn't do it, but because I support JF for the sake of it. He's just autistic. He's not a murderer. That's why it's as close as it is.
You know how in To Kill a Mockingbird, everyone thinks the guy's guilty because he's black? We all think JF is guilty because he's autistic. We have like autistic prejudice, and then we have this guy who's fighting that prejudice. Very good M&D.
It could have been murder or manslaughter. I'm pretty confident that's one of the two, but I'm not sure which one it actually is. How long does...
she's quite a distinctive woman, isn't she? She's not a kind of woman who can just wander around and blend in. Just the way she talks.
She's 5'10" as well, so she's pretty tall for a woman.
She's 5'10", and she goes...
She has problems. I think the fact that English is her second language might be slightly amplifying what can I say on YouTube? How bad she really is.
Yeah.
Maybe in French she speaks fluent, like she's still kind of dumb, but she speaks fluently in French, and she kind of sounds a bit more normal.
Yeah. Possibly. I voted no. Mama JF AI chatbot. There's no evidence that she's dead. Well, okay. I mean, there's no body. Is what you're saying. That is a level. Look, this isn't like how you would vote on a jury. This is what you think.
Yeah. Do you think there's more than a 50% chance that he murdered her?
Good on Ryan for
But there's
distancing.
this haze of weirdness around the whole thing that you have to peer through.
Yeah. It's so hard to come to. It was hard doing the research. Like Ryan sent me all the documents today, and I didn't know what to think when I was reading through so many of them. It's just, it's a mind bend.
Yeah. All right. How long? Does anyone? How many votes are there? Or, I can't see the poll for
74.
Some reason.
74 votes. 51% say murder. 22 manslaughter. 27 not guilty.
Yeah. So
I think he'd be let off by a jury.
I thought more people would give him the benefit of the doubt than that. I'm surprised, actually.
Yeah. So I think based on this, a jury is not going to find him guilty because he only needs one. He would get off on a jury trial unless the RCMP have something else. I mean, there are cases that seem to go cold, and then like a year and a half or 2 years later, bam, suddenly discovery starts and things start rolling real quick. But I think.
Can I?
Go ahead.
Sorry, go on. Oh, I was going to say, can I make an observation about the poll? The YouTube poll is bad because it shows results before you vote, which is very well known for affecting how people vote. Twitter polls are better; you don't see the result until you voted.
Yeah, but that's also true for how juries work. There's jury deliberation, so it's accurate in terms.
Oh, you're right.
In terms of how it would,
Good point. Good point.
The U.S. jury. So
no, absolutely, you're right.
So how many votes are there? I don't want to end the stream until the votes stop coming in.
80 at the moment. 81 is still coming in.
Okay.
Why are you voting now? Why didn't you vote like 5 minutes ago?
Oh, actually, I can read a quick letter that we received from Mrs. Trellis from the United Kingdom, who says, I found myself particularly enamored with that Kyle Reese fellow. Does he have a Twitter? Does he have a Twitter profile at all?
Yeah.
So that's from a Mrs. Trellis.
Oh, good. This totally real person. This is Mrs. Trellis.
So over to you, Reese. If you want, how does Mrs. Trellis and other interested parties get hold of you on Twitter?
It's just C Kyle. The handle has a bunch of numbers that I don't remember. But just C Kyle, I should find it.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, and sorry, hang on a second. What's that, Mrs. Zambezi? Actually, we've got a local question. One moment.
Yes, I've got a question for that acceptable frog. Why are you acceptable frog when your Twitter handle's acceptable toad? How about that?
Well, okay, that's a legitimate question, Mrs.
Actually,
Zambezi.
I think Rob.
I'm going to answer that, but go on.
Okay, you answer it, then I'll ask.
Yeah, I was just going to say that it was because originally I used to identify as a groiper, and then I kind of rethought my relationship with that group. I don't want to be disparaging towards groipers in any way. I think they play an important role, but my interests sort of went elsewhere. I focused on race issues, and so yeah. So
that nice Mr. Fuentes is going to be ever so disappointed.
Well, I know, Mrs. Zambezi. I'm very sorry, but yeah, I'm an Apu now. I'm afraid I'm a frog.
Yeah.
I think, Rob, it's time to stop deceiving the audience and just reveal that you've had a voice changer the whole time, and that you're actually Jordan Peterson, and that we've actually been talking to Jordan Peterson this whole time.
Like you can't just drop that on people, man. That's like damn hard. You gotta man. That's some heavy stuff now. You're dropping that on people, and I just don't think they're prepared, man.
But the thing is, I'm also Jordan Peterson, but I have not as good a voice as you do. But I'm also Jordan Peterson. We've both been Jordan Peterson this entire time. I hate to reveal this truth to you.
Man, that's just really like disrespectful, and I
Oh,
just
this is
I
bad.
just don't think that's like fair,
Mine's more like Kermit the Frog. Kermit, hey, I'm Kermit the
Yay,
Frog.
steel turns and says, yay!
You must have had a deadbeat dad. That's why you're so shitty. I'm Jordan Peterson.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Uncanny. All right. Well, I'm gonna end the stream. You guys ready?
Thanks for listening.
I just think that maybe you want to have a little think about having a conversation
Keith
with
Woods.
Keith Woods now sometime.
Oh, Keith Woods.
I don't think you really want to roll that out at this stage.
Oh yeah,
Just
speaking,
like have a stream.
Keith Woods
Just have an
in
entire
his Scottish accent. Yeah.
have an entire
that's right.
stream and just
Irish
pretend that you're Keith
nationalism is
Woods.
quite the topical thing on the Twitter now, so it is. So you might like to get him along now for a little conversation about that kind of thing.
Yeah. I guess. Ryan's moving in the big leagues. First Molyneux, now Peter Stein. Yeah, Molyneux couldn't show up, but he'll show up next time. All right, we need to end the stream. We need to end the stream somewhere.
When is next time? When is next time? When should people tune in?
Oh yeah, Friday at noon Eastern, and then Sunday at noon Eastern. So the stream is
And
Wednesday, Friday, Sunday at noon
And
Eastern.
Saturday 2 a.m. for Australians. I'll see you over there.
Well, noon Eastern is the U.S. Yeah, okay. So all the Australian fans out there, yes. 2 a.m. 2 a.m. for you. All right. See you around.
All right, see ya. Bye.
Have a good one.